Can Kymar deal any sort of damage? Let's see, can he farm this campaign without a problem? I'm pretty sure he's got this in his back pocket. Now, he's not gonna hit as hard as a normal nuker like a Ethos, a Tranda or anything crazy like that, but by the looks of it, he can do this without a problem. As long as you have 200 plus speed, so he overlaps the enemy teams, bang. What's up everybody, Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Now, there is no secret guys, I finally managed to get my most wanted non-void legendary champion. We do have the 10x on Kymar this weekend guys, so I wish you luck. Put your hand on that champion if you can, because he's a beast of a champion. It took me over 2 years to get Kymar, right? So that's a long time. Kymar is a super old champion, he's not new to the game at all. The day I started the game, Kymar was there. Was literally the first champion I've put my eyes on, and I was like, damn, I want to get this champion. His design is badass, he just looks dope. But then I had to wait like 2 years and something to get him, which is fine, I got him. So last weekend I got one from a Sacreds. That was like the most insane like luck ever. I will be linking that video in here if you guys want to check it out. But this weekend, of course, I tried to get a dupe one, because he's that champion that you do want to have two builds on him. One for arena, one for PvE, maybe two for arena, maybe even the third one, and a build two for arena, one for PvE, right? So today, because we do have two of them now, we're gonna do a guide on him. We're gonna try 3 different builds, so keep an eye on that. Now, we're not gonna try him on Faction Wars because we don't have the crypt open, but if you want to use him for Faction Wars, throw him on a stun set. He's gonna do the job like a boss. But moving over to arena, we're gonna try 2 different arena builds, and we're gonna try one PvE build for dungeons, which probably is the best choice overall if you wanna use him in teams to fast farm or anything like that. But talking about the arena builds, right? Because I do have 2 now, let me flex it, because a lot of you guys were trolling me on stream all the time saying like, can we see your Kymar build? Knowing that I don't have a Kymar. Well, guess what? Now I have 2, so you cannot troll me anymore, guys. So I'm gonna start with the most popular build probably. This is mainly how most of the guys are using him for arena. Now, it's not one of my favorite builds, so this build right here is gonna get broken once I'm done with this video, and I'm gonna change him into PvE. I'm gonna keep the one on high resistance. Now, it does depend by your roster what other champions you're having, but I'm not such a big fan of this particular build. Probably this being the most popular build when we're talking about Kymars, right? We do have the Swift parry sets all over arena, like is their era right now, and he's a pretty good counter with it. His A2, removing buffs, sleeping, his A3, decreasing the cooldown of skills, so you can actually come in again with your nuker and wipe the team, but still I don't find it as effective against some specific teams. He doesn't really fit with my playstyle at the moment. I'm not really running the teams like to be able to fit him in a team in this build, so that's why I'm gonna change him. But I do wanted to show you the best ways to kind of use him. That's just my opinion. He's not fitting my playstyle. That doesn't mean that it's not gonna fit yours. So before we move over in talking about builds, let's have a quick look at the skills for whoever is a newbie at the channel. He's not familiar with the champion right here. He does look badass. Finally got that mofo. We do have Phantom Fire, his A1 guys. Attacks all enemies, places a 5% poison debuff for 1 turn if this attack is critical. If you wanna land poisons with him, you gotta give him crit rate. So he requires 4 books in the A1. Poison debuff, AoE, great for stuns. If you wanna CC the enemy team for Faction Wars, how I said. Then we have his A2, Abyssal Gaze. On 3 turn cooldown fully booked. Requires 4 more books, so that brings us up to a total of 8 books. Attacks all enemies, removes all buffs, places a sleep debuff for 1 turn. Now, this is a pretty strong skill. Sleep debuff is not the best. It can be countered by masteries, it can be countered by gear, overall like any other debuff, but the problem with sleep is that it can be triggered pretty easy, so it's not the best CC debuff in the game. Probably is the worst, honestly. I would prefer fear over sleep. Then we do have the A3, the cherry on the top of the cake, the most unique skill in the game. Seal of Magic requires 1 more book, that bringing us up to a total of 9 books for this champion. Super good value. On 6th turn cooldown, resets the cooldowns of all ally skills, fills the turn meter of all allies except this champion by 20%. So I'm using my A3 on my nuker, he's gonna reset it, I'm gonna get to use it the next turn instant. If you speed tune the team good enough, you'll be able to overlap the enemy team twice with the turn meter boost you're getting from him, from the other champions. Of course, when we're talking about resistance teams, not about fast teams, you're not going to be able to overlap those ones, but resistance teams are a bit slower, so you are able to actually overlap them. Then we have his aura, increases ally speed in arena battles by 30%. Now that's a pretty solid aura for arena, guys. We have Arbiter, we have Lord Shazar. Lord Shazar not bringing anything near his utility for arena, especially for endgame anyway. But that being said, let's talk about the builds. We are gonna try a high accuracy fast build for arena. We're gonna try a high resistance slower build for arena to counter different teams. We're gonna try a damage build for dungeons to try campaign and the rest of the game. So stay tuned for it as well. That's gonna be the last one on the video. So this build right here is immunity and speed set. Total stats on him, we have 52k HP, 2.1k attack, 2.8k defense, 308 speed, 22 crit rate, 86 crit damage, 203 resistance, 496 accuracy, almost 500 there. So if I throw some glyphs, I'm gonna get 500 accuracy. I would like to have him around this speed and around the 550 to 600 accuracy. It is doable as long as I manage to get better upgrades on the rare pieces of gear, but that's what we have. We have accuracy chest piece, accuracy banner, of course, and speed wise, of course, I can get a lot of speed improvement by just glyphing the pieces here. Some of them that they still have a slot, like the banner, for example, can give me 6 speed, and at this level of speed, playing it with 5+ speed is pretty important, honestly. Masteries on him, guys, we have defense and support 3, right? Now, I haven't went with retribution. Easily done to get a selfless defender with the stats we have on him. He has pretty decent stats when we're talking about tankiness. Maybe not the best idea if we're going against hegemon teams, right? So we went all the way down to Eagle Eye, okay? We do have a Evil Eye as well next to Eagle Eye. A lot of people might confuse this because it sounds so similar, but they kind of do different things. So that's just to get more accuracy. We haven't really went for this because it doesn't buff, and we haven't went for this because it doesn't debuff only with the A1, and for that you need crit rate, so that's kind of gonna be a waste of masteries here, so try to avoid that. We did one with Lord of Steel over Cycle of Magic. I'll rather have a couple of extra speed than have this RNG of 5% for arena, right? Because I don't have time to play 200 turns, and this, if it's decreasing it by 1 turn, it can be good for the A2, but it's so much RNG that honestly is gonna happen probably 1 in a million. So those are the masteries for him. Now, let's use this one in arena, explain how it's working, then we're gonna move to the second build, and then we're gonna change this one for damage. Now, talking about arena, guys, we are at the very top of Platinum, so we'll be finding some very strong teams to fight and to actually make a use of that crazy build we have on him, because I know it's not accessible for a lot of you guys. He's pretty decent build. Now, the reason why he's kind of like the most popular choice on that build, how I said it before, is because everybody is running Swift Parry gear in arena. Now, the reason I don't like that build so much is because of all sorts of champions like Candraphone, Mountain Kings. Basically, against Force champions, he's not really the best option to go against those teams, right? So we're gonna try and look for some teams where we can actually try and get those Swift sets to proc, some sort of teams that we can actually run him against and see how that's gonna work. So, for example, this right here could be a good example if they have Swift. Now, we're not sure about it, so let me remove this Kymar from here because that's not the right one. This is the right one just here. So, let's go in for a fight with them. We can take that immunity one. We don't really need to worry about high resistance there. They don't have it. So basically the way it works, you do that, You sleep the enemy team, strip the buffs, and let's just imagine the Swift set is gonna proc here after we use the A3 on Tranda. Then Kymar is gonna come and reset everybody's skills, so we're gonna rinse and repeat what we're doing right now. So we're gonna repeat that another time. The reason for it is because it works faster than Tranda's A2. Is not as reliable as the A3, of course. It doesn't hit as hard unless you have everything planned in order, which she can deal a ton of damage with the A2 as well. Like this team right here. This can be a good option as well, because she's gonna revive. She's gonna block that basically as well. So we can sleep the team, right? Strip the buffs. Use the A3. Swift gear procced. That revive came back. She revived again. So now if we let it go on auto, okay, it's gonna happen the same thing over and over. The second time we clap the team. So basically, that's why this build on Kymar is the most popular one. I don't disagree with it at all. I think it's a pretty good counter for the Swift. Not a pretty good, a very good one actually. It can run pretty fast with the team. It's just not great against teams with force champions. Like, if we would go against this one right here, I'm not sure if he has Swift on any of them, so we're gonna skip that one and look for a stronger team to fight. Like this one right here. Seems like a pretty badass option when we're talking about it, right? So it looks like a team full of Swift. So let's give it a go and see if anything procs on them. Right, so boost, A2. We got resisted, we don't have that crazy amount of accuracy on him. We got resisted on her, so we're gonna use the A3. No Swift, but she survived, so we're gonna let it go on auto. She's gonna revive Lydia, the worst choice. Now, Madame Series AI is not the best there, so she kind of messed that up a bit. But that's kind of an example of what can happen. Now, if we would go against this team right here, do I have a better choice to show you? Like, let me just see quick before we move over to that one. We can go against that one. I know they are two Kendraphones, so higher chances to get weak hits, but it's still gonna happen kind of the same thing. So it should be a good example. So we got one weak hit on one, is fine. It's not the end of the world. So now we can let her on auto. They survived, which is fine. It's not the end of the world again. We can go and do it again. Okay, we won it. But that was a bit lucky that that Kendraphone was not crazily built to actually to be able to kill our Tranda. He went for the AoE attack in there. Not that team. I am trying to find a different team. Preferably not Hegemon in there. We can try Manchi right here with the MK as well. Or we can try Johnny Hex. Look, perfect team. Swift sets all over. And I know the team, so I know he has Swifts. Everybody does though. Like, what am I even saying? Everybody is running Swift gear. I'm not even sure why I have any sort of doubts on it, you know? So, A3, from here on we can let it go on auto, right? We got a Swift proc there, Kendraphone. Bang, we're doing that. She boosted. Madame Series is not the best idea all the time. Swift proc again. Okay, that was a counter attack. No, it wasn't actually. Okay, but there we go. We had the Swifts proccing on, and we got it in 35 seconds down. So, it's a pretty good counter against Swifts, right? Definitely, Kymar is a super strong champion. Now, enough with this build, right? I kind of made my point. What I wanted to show you guys. It's pretty risky against those teams with the Kendraphones. That's why I'm not a fan of it. So I'm not gonna use that myself, but it's an exceptional counter. So Kymar version number 1, moving over to version number 2. Now, a lot of you guys know Warlords, right? And a lot of you seems to don't be familiar with this kind of counter for Warlords from the previous videos you've seen. I'm not sure why. So, you build Kymar on immunity. The reason we are giving immunity is because a lot of teams, they have Hegemons and they have Warlords in the same team. So, I'm protecting his skill with immunity from Hegemons, but then high resistance to go against Warlords. So that's why we have immunity and high resistance. just to make myself clear. Now, total stats on him, we have 57k HP, 2.4k attack, 3.3k defense, 255 speed, a bit slower, a bit of crit rate, 102 crit damage, 602 resistance, 111 accuracy. Now, talking about this build, the next thing that I gotta do, I don't have the glyphs at the moment, but what I want to change, keep the same speed, keep the same resistance, and give him 150 plus accuracy just to be enough to debuff the debuffer of the enemy team and the nuker, right? So that build is gonna change as soon as I get the glyphs. For the last 6 weeks, plus the glyphs, they've been horrible for me. I feel like I'm in a bad cycle, in a bad rotation with the drop rates for glyphs. And honestly, I've been getting just bad glyphs non-stop. So it's gonna take a while, but whenever it's gonna go, I'm gonna change a couple of pieces of gear and readjust those stats. So those are the stats on him. Masteries, we went with defense and support. Now, if, for example, you will wanna get the same build, you can always pick in between Unshakable as tier 6 or Eagle Eye, depending on how is your gear looking like. You lack in accuracy, you lack in resistance. But that's the build. Let's jump in and find some teams. Right guys, after recording for like 5 minutes and getting clapped on every single run, I realized I haven't changed Kymar in the team. So we back on it, but this time around with the right Kymar. So let's clap some teams with hegemons, with warlords, with everything in it. So first we're gonna go on enemy. He has a pretty good team, so let me make sure I am changing to the resistance one. So now we can actually go relax and clap him. Because I was going with the one with accuracy, I was keep getting clapped and I was like, damn, everybody has plenty of accuracy here. But let's go in it again. Those guys, they're gonna get excited being like, damn, look at Skratch. He lost against my team so many times. So how you guys saw, we got resisted. Now, one thing that can happen here is Warlord only has an 80% chance to decrease the turn meter. So he can decrease the turn meter of your Madame series, but not on your Tranda. So that will kind of flip a bit your rotation over and will slow you down a bit. But that's fine, it's not the end of the world. So how you guys can see, a lot of people are not familiar with this sort of comp, and I'm not sure why. So the reason for him is to do this. That Warlord just before increased the cooldowns of every champion in my team except Kymar, right? So now we decrease it. So now we are able to come in and do just that. Okay, you do your thing there. And now we're not gonna use the A3, we're still gonna go with the A2. And just like that, we wreck the team. The reason I haven't went with the A3 was in case if they have Swift sets, to make sure we are gonna be able to clap it. So if I would have had 250 to 300 accuracy the way I wanna have it on this champion, next to that 600 plus resistance, I would have slapped that Rotos, for example. So if I wouldn't have had a Necret and he was gonna come and try to wreck my nuker, that would have helped me to keep my champion alive. So no Warlording here, we don't really need to run that. Let's try and find Hegemon and Warlord together, because that's kind of what we want to see. Again, it's gonna work the exact same way we've seen it before against this team as well. So where do we have what we are looking for? Same situation, same situation, same situation with those Warlords. Nobody seems to run that at the moment, because that's kind of the secret build for top Platinum Arena in the last 15 minutes. That's why you don't see this strat so often around, nobody's showing you guys. But that's kind of like the best way to counter those teams. Super reliable, as long as you manage to build your team around properly, have a shield and all the good stuff, because you do need shield for damage build hegemons. They might not be CC, right? So you want to ensure you have the right build against those teams. So let me just see to find somebody that's running anything similar with that, because I've seen a few people before, but seems like they kind of disappear from my list at the moment. Now I haven't managed to find the right team to show you guys, but I will be continue to look for at least one team like that with Hegemon and Warlord together. But if you want to see more of that, if you go on the pinned video that I put at the beginning of the video when I actually pulled Kymar the first time last week, at the end of the video I'm showing some fights, why I wanted Kymar so bad, so you're able to pick more of those teams in there. How I said, those are the reset teams for a lot of people that like their secret defense. That's why this strat right here is not very popular among the people, because not many are familiar that you can counter those teams like this. But because they're kind of hiding their defenses at the moment, I can't really show you that properly. So I'm gonna try and find somebody that might have that sort of defense at the moment and see how we'll go against that, you know. So what do we have? Not this one right here. He has accuracy warlord. I don't have enough resistance for him, unfortunately. Even with the lead, I'm still worried that 660 is not going to be enough for that warlord. I have a feeling that that warlord is pretty high on accuracy. So honestly, I don't want to go on that team because I know what it's going to cost us. So let's refresh till we find somebody. Hopefully we'll be finding somebody. Okay, that's Becca again. Can we get different people in here? Guys, come on, push arena and let's do it. Please. Come, give me a hand. Give me a hand. We have Maga right here. We can try it against this team. Now, I do have a feeling that if he doesn't have immunity, Warlord is not going to work properly on here. And he's going to use the wrong skill, but let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Yeah, he's gonna use different skill. Exactly. I knew that was gonna happen. So, pro tip of the video, guys, as well. If you want your Kymar to use his... not your Kymar, your Warlord. You want him to use the A2. He needs immunity. And the lead needs immunity as well. At a minimum, for him to use the A2. If no, he's gonna use the A3. If you have immunity on 3 champions, he's gonna use the A3 no matter what. As long as you're not dropping a lot of HP. So, because he didn't use the right skill, I'm gonna use the A3 on here, try to kill the team, and let it go on auto for some of the bit here. Decrease the cooldown. Let's remove those buffs again, and let Randa do that damage again. So Swift proc on Duchess. She already revived, which is fine, but that's kind of like you should expect. How it worked on the first one, but we're protecting with immunity from hegemons. Now, we're gonna jump over and make a different build for damage, guys, for PvE. Unfortunately, we just don't find more teams like this to fight, but you guys, I'm pretty sure you're getting the idea. So let's move over to the next build. So even though he doesn't need any sort of introduction here, guys, like everybody knows what Kymar does more or less. Like, he's very unique, right? I don't have to say that. So I'm gonna test him. I'm gonna play with him around till I find the right build for him that suits me and suits the teams that I'm using in dungeons. I might want to make him go faster than some champions. Want to make him go different than having Relentless, for example. But right now, he's on a Relentless set and an Accuracy set. Total stats, we have 39k HP, 3.9k attack, 2.4k defense, 170 speed, full crit rate, 240 crit damage, 238 accuracy. So perfect stats for dungeons, for example. Now, you've seen the run we've done literally at the beginning of the video with him farming Nightmare Campaign. Now there, he was on 206 plus speed, same stats right here, like here. That's what he had, but he had Savage Gear instead. Exact same stats, honestly, crit damage and attack, but Savage Gear and 206 plus speed. That's what he had. So, Masteries on him, we went with Nuke Masteries. Tier 6 we have Ham Smasher. Of course, as Tier 6 you can get War Master. Depending by what sort of build you can get on him. Can you get insane crit damage, crit rate? Is he actually gonna pump out some damage for you as well? Or not really? But because he will pump some damage for me, right? I do want to have him on pretty good build. So we're only gonna test him in the Dragon and the Spider, guys, just as an idea to see. So I tried this team one time before. Let's try it again. We got 30 seconds before with a Renegade, which is the cheap Kymar, was kind of like 31 seconds. Now probably if I would find a way to tune this team a bit better, to make Kymar somehow to not decrease the cooldown of the skills when he goes first, once the AI fixture comes in and you're able to pick what skills for the champions to use, that's when this is going to become even more powerful, because we can make Kymar to go first, and rather than him use his A3 like a dummy, we can make him use his A2, and when he's going to get a turn the next round, he's going to use the A3 and make this run so much faster. So this seems like a very slow run here, actually. This you can make it go around with 2 Royal Guards, for example. Okay. But he is pretty awesome for this. So it's not a huge difference comparing it with the cheap Kymar, the Renegade, the Portsman Kymar, to say like this, but it is of course different feeling to it, right? At least it's definitely feeling like a different feeling here. And all these relentless procs, they can kind of slow you down, like more animations, more turns from the champions that they shouldn't be taking a turn, you know. So of course this is not a insane team by any means. It's not like a crazy time. We're not going here for world records or anything like that. I'm just showing you what they can do, right? So going over to the Spider, let's give it another run here as well. So 2 Royal Guards, Draco and Kymar, they should be clapping the Spider. Now if I would throw a Lissandra in here, we'll make it a bit faster because the Spider, the Queen won't have a chance to get a turn. But like that, he's gonna decrease the cooldowns now. And I think she will get a turn in front of me. She will, but that's fine. We already have our A3 on, so our Royal Guards, they're gonna use that. And that's it. 22 seconds to kill the Spider like that. It's fun. You can run them like this, absolutely. Now I could run Draco, Septimus and something else in the keeps, make it so much faster with him. But even like this, I have 9 seconds, 10 seconds. What's my best time? 8 seconds. So I doubted that Kymar is gonna help me change that. I've done that without Kymar, just with Draco and Septimus, and I think Aitos. That's kind of what it happened. But that was all for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which is your favorite build from these 3 on a Kymar? How you use him? Are you using mainly for arena, for a PvE? I do want to know all about it. Appreciate you all guys watching. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe for more content, turn on notifications to see when we upload next, and I'll see you all soon on another video. Till then, peace out.